All right, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Kohalol Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim Rakak Wadash, double honors to the apostles and the elders, the great millstone, and salutations to you brothers that's pushing this word in truth and sincerity. All right, so I'm coming with another video. As you can see on the screen, this is the website shithitsthefanplan.com. Okay, and it says a lot. It says the next recession will be the last because we're coming into a time where the United States government, which is Babylon the Great, okay, or AKA Babylon the Great, okay, is hitting into their like it says, the deep state is preparing for their checkmate move. All right, so the Most High is preparing the checkmate move. All right, for Babylon the Great, okay, and it's all being set. The stage is being set with this financial collapse, and then when countries collapse financially, after that you have war. All right, so we're seeing the end of this current reign of the United States dollar, and it's going to proceed with depression. Okay, the greatest depression that's going to ever hit the earth. And as you can see in this article, the article is entitled "America's Financial Suicide." The budget deficit rises 26% in 1 year as federal spending spirals wildly out of control. So you got the federal government, they're spending money like it's no tomorrow. They're printing and borrowing money, and they're putting that debt on the backs of the United States citizens, okay, the people that have a social security number. All right, if you have a social security number, you're tied to that debt. And you know what that means? That means when the government collapses and the Federal Reserve note is no longer recognized as legal tender, okay, the American people are on the line for that debt, okay, because they're an asset, okay. The average common citizen, okay, whether he be rich or poor, is an asset, okay, to the elites, okay. And the reason why this money is being borrowed and it's being put on the backs, is being put on the future earnings of these citizens. Now that's why they're going to administer the microchip, because these people are assets, and when you have to, basically, when you go bankrupt, your assets are transferred, all right, to another entity. All right, and that's what's going to happen. These people are going to be transferred over to the elite international bankers, all right, via the microchip. And the spirit just have that the microchip is coming out more and more, okay. And let me start off with this scripture right here. This is Proverbs 22:7. It says, "The rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender." All right, so everybody in America, based off of this system, because this is a system of debt, okay, is a borrower, okay, and they're servant to the lender. And who is the lender? The lenders are the elite international bankers who set up the Federal Reserve System. Okay, back in 1913, there was a conspiracy on Jekyll Island, and this conspiracy was to transfer the wealth, okay, of the American citizen over to the elite international bankers. All right, so they set up that Woodrow Wilson to pass the Federal Reserve Act, okay, and then not too long after that, you had the Great Depression, okay, which if you had gold back then, you were forced to turn over your gold to the United States government, and the people that turned over their gold to the United States government basically transferred that wealth that they had, that tangible wealth, which is gold, silver, over to the elite international bankers, okay. And you were given Federal Reserve notes, and you were given the Federal Reserve System, which is a system of debt, okay. And then after World War II, that dollar was set up as the world reserve currency, and all of these countries used the dollar. They borrowed the dollar to build up their societies, okay, to build up their countries after this Third World War. After the Second World War, okay. The dollar, you had the Bretton Woods Agreement, which the dollar was set up to be the world reserve currency, okay. And basically that system, okay, is ready to collapse. Now the elites have used that Federal Reserve to transfer the wealth, okay, and set up the central banks over these nations, okay, and create wars. So and control the flow of petroleum, okay, through that Federal Reserve note, and gain power and gain riches, okay. And now we're at the time of the collapse where you're going to collapse the Federal Reserve note, okay. That's why America has severe deficits spending is out of control. Okay, and they're putting more Federal Reserve notes into the system. Okay, so that's why this writer, Michael Snyder, says that America's financial suicide, the budget deficit rises 26% in 1 year as federal spending spirals wildly out of control. Okay, so since Trump got in office, he's doing just as much as President Obama did, spending. Okay, federal spending, spending on the military. Okay, spending on all of these things that keep the government afloat. Okay, and cutting back on, they call it entitlements. Okay, like things that help the poor. All right, things that help the citizens. So we're gonna see chaos in the streets. And it all goes back to the rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender, because the rich, they want the dollar to collapse so they can usher in their new world order. This is all done by design. All right, but in verse 8 it says, he that soweth iniquity shall reap vanity. And the elites, the super rich, they're sowing iniquity. Okay, the scriptures talk about a false balance. As a matter of fact, let me get it real quick. False balance. Because a false balance, let me read it real quick. Let me get it real quick. Yeah, this is Proverbs 11 and 1. It says, a false balance is an abomination to the Lord, but just weights is to his delights. Okay, because a false balance is that Federal Reserve note. It's not worth anything. Okay, it's the value. It's not backed by anything. It's fiat. Okay, this is a trust system, and all the countries are losing trust and faith in the American dollar, and that's why America is on a financial suicide, according to Michael Snyder. All right, but I'm gonna read through a little bit of this article, and I got another scripture that I'm gonna go into. This video is not gonna be too long. It says, we are in the process of committing national financial suicide. Who is we? You Edomites, okay? You Edomites, because you're basically setting up your future generation to be in debt, which we know that the nuclear missiles is the end of you Edomites, you average, you so-called white people, man. All right, you Edomites. It says we are in the process of committing national financial suicide. You Edomites are, and most Americans don't seem to care. Yeah, because the scriptures say folly is set in great dignity. These people rather be distracted. All right, what are they doing on Saturday? Watching college football. Okay, they're going out spending the little bit of money that they do have, okay, to being entertained. Okay, because the average citizen doesn't care. It says, as you will see below, the federal budget deficit for the fiscal year that ended on September 30th was the largest in 7 years. In fact, it was actually 26% larger than last year. Federal spending is wildly out of control, and non-discretionary spending is projected to go through the roof in the years ahead. Under our current system, it is literally going to be impossible to turn things around. As the baby boomers continue to retire, the amount of resources demanded by Social Security, Medicare, and other entitlement programs is going to continue to escalate dramatically. Yeah, because these baby boomers, okay, they're in their age of retirement, and when you retire, you have been promised money because you paid into the system. That's why I don't understand why they call it entitlements. Okay, what they call it entitlements, but baby boomers have paid into the system for years, and that money is not there because the fraud of the federal government. Okay, all of the lies that have been told. Why is the money not there? If people are paying into the system, why is the money not there? Because they've been misallocated money. All right. Okay, it says the amount of resources demanded by Social Security, Medicare, and other entitlement programs is going to continue to escalate dramatically. Meanwhile, the biggest bureaucracy in the history of the world just continues to get even larger with each passing year. So this guy, Donald Trump, said, make America great again, but the policies, okay, the financial, fiscal policy of America is to keep on spending and spending, okay? And if America doesn't keep on spending, all right, then the system will go down. See, these people are trapped up in a quagmire, okay? Because for not telling the truth. You're not telling the people the truth. You're not warning them of what's to come. Okay, so it's going to be a great collapse. This says, meanwhile, the biggest bureaucracy in the history, I read that, um, it says neither political party seems interested in trying to do anything about it. So yeah, so basically you have the Republicans and the Democrats. They can come together when it comes to bombing another country, all right. But when it comes to fixing the problems, okay, of the national debt, they don't speak about it. They don't talk about it a lot. They talk at it, but they don't do anything when they get into office because it's business as usual. It says our national debt will shortly hit $23 trillion. It was $18 trillion, but see how quickly it got to $23 trillion, okay? Because it's moving quicker because there's more spending. Okay, it says, but we will never actually pay it off. Instead, we will just keep piling on more debt until the entire charade comes crashing down like a house of cards. And when the charade comes and crashes down like a house of cards, that's when they're going to implement the microchip. Okay, it was never meant for America to pay off their national debt. It was actually meant for them to go into a form of bankruptcy, into a form of collapse, and then the people will have to be microchipped, okay, by the beast, because the beast, the United Nations, okay, under the umbrella of the United Nations, you have the IMF, which is the International Monetary Fund. Okay, you have these different you have NATO, okay, you have the G8s, and you have you have all of these different corporate backed entities. Okay, and under them, they want to bring in that microchip. Okay, that's the new thing. That's why all of these countries are getting together, jockeying for the position of who's going to take the helm of the new world order. Okay, because these countries are looking for America to collapse. See, America was set as one of the superpowers, but America's going to collapse. That's why the scriptures say, "Why did the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing?" Okay. Because the Chinese think that they're going to be in power. They think that they're going to have their surveillance state, the microchip, and have their people in subjection. Okay? But, hey, that's nonetheless, America's going to be destroyed. And with America being destroyed, all these nations won't be able to make money, okay, like they used to make money. All right? But I'm not going to keep on reading all of this article. It's a lot of stuff in here. It goes into the treasury. Okay? It goes into the short-term federal it says, in the short term, the Federal Reserve will undoubtedly attempt to stabilize things. In recent days, they have begun to go wildly, printing money once again. Okay, so they're putting more money into the system, which they're devaluing the currency that you're working for. So as the days go by, you're going to work more and you're going to be even more poor. Okay, you're going to be more poor. So the average working citizen is a sucker, is being played. Okay, he's a slave. All right, and ultimately they're going to be in the streets protesting, and they're going to be met with hollow tip bullets and a totalitarian type society, just like what's going on over there in Hong Kong. Okay, they're giving people 6 to 10 years, okay, for protesting. All right, and that's coming to America. You're going to get in a concentration camp. You're going to end up in a concentration camp for protesting because you've been oppressed. This is Habakkuk 2:6. It says, "Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, Woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay." Now the clay, that goes back to the word of batyat. When you look into it, and it means debt. Okay, and basically these nations are taking up a taunting proverb. Now United States foreign policy really has no credibility, or it's losing credibility, because they abandon their allies in the eyes of the world. Okay, with this Turkish and Kurd thing on the Syrian border. Okay, what can the Americans do? What can they say? They're a country riddled with debt. Okay, and only thing that they have is their military power. Okay, they don't really have too much leverage. Okay, now that word is weight of pledges, heavy debt. Yeah, weight of pledges. One of the pledges are entitlements. Okay, which Esau, Edom, all right, is not going to be able to live up to that pledge. Okay, of giving those baby boomers Medicare. Okay, their Social Security. They're giving them 1% increase in the cost of living, 1.6% increase, which is nothing, man, because all these prices are going up. And all of this, so it's bad. And another thing of this new world order, when all hell breaks loose and martial law comes, a lot of these baby boomers, they're going to be put to death. Because they're expendable. Okay, United States government doesn't have the money, okay, to pay their entitlements. All right, and a lot of them are sickly. Okay, a lot of them have been eating years of GMO foods and all types of stuff. So they need Medicare and they need other medical programs. So they're gonna be put to death. They're not needed in the New World Order. Okay, they're not needed. So for these baby boomers that have bought into the system, mainly our people, and they look down on the young and for not voting and all of this stuff, you actually fell for the trap that Esau set. And now that you're up there in your old age, they're going to do you dirty, man. Okay, and I'm talking about our people, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, the ones that live out in Capernaum. Okay, for example, now Capernaum, we call Capernaum, PG County, that area, Montgomery County, you have well-to-do Jakes out there, okay, and they don't take heed to the word of the Lord. They're into Christianity and all of that. But when the society collapses, okay, they're going to be expendable, all right? And they're going to realize that you have bought into a burning house, like Martin Lucifer the King said. All right, but with that, man, I just want to give all praises to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua Bashim Rakal Quadash. That's the Most High in the name of the Son, okay? And double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone. Those are the men that have been set up to teach us this word, all right? And, they rule, lead by example, which is a beautiful thing when you have leaders that lead by example, okay? Back in the ancient days, your king would be on the front line fighting with his soldiers, okay? But you don't have that here. you don't have your leaders, okay, that send young men to war fighting on the front line. No more. They just send people to war to be put to death. That's how the elites get down in these times. Esau, Edom. But their time is coming to an end, okay? As you can see on this article, America's financial suicide. The budget deficit rises 26%, and it's ultimately going to lead to a collapse. This is Michael Snyder, October 9th, 2019. With that, all praises, call Allah, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Shalom to you, Akim.